We're good?
Yep, you're live.
Perfect. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jack with River Marketing Group. Today we have Kirk, and we're going to be going over some things with his website and his online presence and see kind of where we can optimize and build his brand online so that he gets more exposure and more leads through that exposure online. As you guys all know, everyone's online. It doesn't matter whether they're looking for a plumber or tree removal or anything like that. A lot of people are searching for this kind of service online, and it's not any different with loan officers and mortgage brokers and getting financing for their house. And I'll show you that here in a second. All right. So then, Kirk, thanks for coming on and welcome to the call here.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
Awesome. So just to kind of give you guys background, Kirk is kind of a mortgage loan officer out in California. And so that is kind of our background. And so I recognize that. And so we'll be walking through that. I'll probably ask you for your website and to kind of take a look at it and see where we can optimize there. And then hopefully you can get some value out of this, Kirk, and anyone that's watching this.
Awesome.
All right. So before I begin, I guess the first thing that I need to talk about is the main three things, the social profiles that you need to have. And those three things in this order are Google, Yelp, and Facebook. So you need to make sure that you have a Google My Business page, and then a Yelp page, and then a Facebook. And I'll explain exactly why here in the next few minutes and however long this goes. Okay, so the first is Google. And the reason why you need to be on Google is because of the fact that so many people are on their smartphones. Now, as of, I think, 2015 or even before that, but especially now, today, more than ever, more people are on their smartphones than they are on their computers. So you need to make sure that you are on Google, because that's how people search for services, and that's how you're going to get more exposure online, besides kind of maybe a lot of the methods that you're doing right now to generate referrals and leads, which may be trying to establish relationships with realtors. And so a lot of the training, what I've recognized from the loan officers that I talked to, have done a lot of training where it has to deal with, referring business from realtors and building that relationship that way. But there's a whole nother market out there, and marketing way you can do it by building your exposure online. And I'm sure you recognize it, but maybe you might not realize how big it is, as well as what it might actually take to get that exposure. Because it's not enough today just to have a Google My Business page. It's not enough just to have a Yelp page. You really need to make sure that you optimize it so that you can really stand out and stand in the forefront of the loan officers, because there's so many out there, and you really need to take that extra step and do the things that the other loan officers aren't doing today to get to that next level and make sure that you really stand out and really take your business to the next level, which is ideally at least 6 figures and scaling up from there. All right. So why don't I just actually walk the talk here and show you exactly what I mean when people are actually, what kind of phrases that people are actually searching. So I have a handy dandy tool here called Ahrefs that allows me to kind of look up some of the search metric behind some of the keywords. So if someone's typing into Google, mortgage lender, California, how many people might be actually searching that kind of phrase? So I'll go ahead and do that. So you'll see what I'll do is I'll type in mortgage Los Angeles. Let's try this. Okay, so do you see right here this keyword mortgage broker Los Angeles, Kirk? What this means is basically 250, and this actually is on the low end from my experience, but at least 250 people per month are searching this phrase, mortgage broker Los Angeles, on Google. So I'm going to open up incognito mode so that it doesn't skew the results from my previous website visits that I made, and just go ahead and type in mortgage broker Los Angeles. So you'll see right here, let me kind of explain to you what this means right here. Basically,
Jack, sorry to interrupt you. You have to share the incognito window. Remember, you open a new window, right?
Oh, you can't see that? Okay.
You're gonna have to share it again, and then you have to choose the new incognito window. So just go ahead and share.
We'll just do this. Okay. Can you see this all right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just do it that way. It should be fine. So the dichotomy of this is not the dichotomy, but the setup of this is basically you got your ads where people are actually paying for this keyword, mortgage broker Los Angeles, and then you have the 3 spots right here, what's called the map pack in the SEO world, and then you have your organic results. This right here gets a tremendous amount of phone calls because when most people are on their smartphones, this is the main thing that they see, and it jumps up right at them. And then
Hello?
Hello.
I think he froze.
He did.
Jack, you froze.
Frozen in time.
Oh.
Han Solo.
all right, so as I was saying, what this is the map pack that we want to make sure that we want to be on, because a lot of people are on their phones and this is the first thing that they see. And what happens is, especially when they're on their phone, there's a button for dial. And so it's very easy for them to just boom, click on it and call. So you want to make sure that you are here when people are searching up this kind of phrase. And so right now, Kirk, can I get your business name? Do you by chance have a Google My Business?
I do have a Google My Business.
Okay, let's see if we can find it. Is it just under Kirk or?
Yeah, it should be under Kirk Jaffe Enterprises.
Kirk Jaffe. And you're in the LA area, right?
Yes.
All right.
And I don't use it. That's why you're probably not seeing it at anywhere near the top.
Well, that's okay. Well, I'm glad that we're doing this phone call then, because you'll see just how important, and I'm sure you're not the only person that haven't really optimized that portion. Let's do.
Two E's. Oh. Actually, sorry, one E.
There it is. There's the Yelp page. Facebook.
I'm just trying to pull up your Google My Business page.
Yeah, maybe I don't have a Google My Business page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I do have, and this is part of the confusion, I guess, on my end.
Yeah.
So I set up a Google page. They said, we're going to send you a code in the mail. So I got the code in the mail. I put the code in. It says it's all validated. And then I get these incessant phone calls from people saying, you must validate your Google page or blah, blah, blah. But since I already typed in the code, I assume it's a garbage phone call. So I never answer them.
Oh, okay.
Do I need to answer those phone calls?
Yeah, there might be like a second verification where Google asks you to verify it. At this point, we don't see it, so it probably means that the Google My Business page probably hasn't been set up all the way.
Okay.
So we'll go here.
Another thing to do. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the reason why you need to be on here, like I said, is this keyword by itself gets 250 searches per month. And these are, if you think about it in the buying cycle of someone that's searching up a mortgage broker Los Angeles, it's a very targeted keyword with a very keyword intent driven thing. If someone happens to be on Facebook and you're running ads and that kind of thing, you know, they might be in the buying cycle where they have considered buying a house. They may be in a situation where they've been talking about it and that kind of thing, and they just happen to fill out some of the information for you to capture that lead. But when someone's typing in mortgage broker Los Angeles, they're in it. They're in the game. They're looking for a mortgage broker in Los Angeles. And so this is a very powerful keyword intent keyword, and you want to make sure that you're in front of this, especially here in the map pack. It's easier to get ranked in the map pack here than it is to get ranked organically in the SEO here. And so it's really beneficial for you to look in here and make sure that you get this set up and optimize it, all right? And so right now, even for this keyword, I'm not sure if it's because it's tracking maybe my search history, but these are the three people that show up on mine when I type in mortgage broker Los Angeles. So Bill Raymond Home Mortgages, Crestico, and Los Angeles Commercial Mortgage Broker. And you'll see actually none of these guys really have that many reviews, 12 reviews, 20 reviews, and no reviews. So it's really optimal chance for you to go in and snipe a spot right here and start getting a lot more leads and phone calls just through your Google My Business page. All right. Now, the next thing I want to mention is when you actually fill out this Google My Business page, Kirk, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you fill out all the information that they ask you. So when you set it up, it's going to ask you like, what category is this? So you want to make sure you grab mortgage broker Los Angeles, because that's what these people have. And then any other subcategories, your address, your hours that you're open, your phone number, and then really fill out the photos. And here's kind of a quick pro tip for you. When you're filling out these photos, what I would recommend doing, a lot of businesses, a lot of loan officers, what they do is they just load up their like logo and maybe like the building, and that might be it. And you know, this guy's actually put his face on there, which is good because you can tie the brand behind the person, and so it's an emotional attachment. The one other thing that I recommend doing is actually taking some photos, or having some photos if you do, standing next to maybe someone that you've helped get the financing. Maybe they can like hold up a key or something, and so that when someone's looking at these photos, because they will, they can have an emotional attachment to that psychologically. They can see, hey, you know, this person has clearly worked with people. I can see that they're legit, and two, that this person that is holding up the key looks like they're happy. So you're probably doing something right. Right? And so you want to make sure you have those kinds of photos, because it's going to help you stand out from a lot of these other Google My Business pages along with the reviews. And,
where do I sign up for Google My Business? Just type in Google My Business and it'll come up?
Yeah, if you just type in Google My Business, you'll find it, and then you can just sign up.
Okay.
So
I'll find out why. Because like I said, I did set it up, but I don't know why it's not there. But okay.
Yep, and then boom, and then manage now or sign in.
Okay.
All right, so you want to do that. Get as many photos on there, and just like I said, fill it out, because that's going to help you rank. Now, for some of you guys, when you go home, and you might maybe not be in Los Angeles, you might be in Denver, Seattle, whatever, and you might see some really big players that have like over 100 reviews all across the board. The one thing that I do want to mention to you is that don't be too concerned about getting to where they're at to be able to be found. It's even fine even if you just have a few reviews for you to just set it up and to optimize it compared to what other people are doing. And the reason being is, as I mentioned, since most people are searching from their smartphones, what Google has done in their algorithm is come up with what's called hyperlocal search. And what that means is Google can use their AI and their algorithm and tracking cookies and voodoo and stuff like that to recognize exactly where you are specifically located when you search for a specific phrase. So when you just type in mortgage broker, and maybe not necessarily the city number, what it'll do is, like, let's say that you're actually in Irvine, right? And you just happen to be there when you're searching. What's going to happen? Do you see how this changes as I move around the map? What happens is basically Google will target hyperlocal areas around where you're searching. And so if just in the fact that you just happen to be near that specific area, your result might show up, and you might be competing with these guys as opposed to the top dogs when you search up something like mortgage broker Los Angeles. And so it's really optimal for you to just set this up today and get the reviews and things like that going, so that you can get more exposure and get found for those hyperlocal searches. And then once you start building that up, and then hopefully work with an SEO company, hint, hint, right? Then you can really start working towards the big wigs and start really building your business and your reach online there. All right. So talked about Google. I did this, and so let me hop over to why you need to be on Yelp now.
Hey Jack, quick question before we move on to Yelp. So how do you rank in the Google My Business page? Like how does Google choose, like, even if you have those photos and you have good reviews, how do they choose you over, you know, how come they're choosing Bill Raymond and Crestico over, you know, I saw some other ones, you know, down. How do you get in the top 3 is the question. How do you rank for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this kind of gets into the nitty-gritty of SEO, right? But kind of as a rough idea of what it is, because so a rough idea, basically what you need to show Google is that you're legitimate and that you're authoritative and you're trustworthy. Now, to do that, what you need to do is you need to have your business name in a lot of website directories. What we call that is citations in Google SEO. And what that does is when Google's website crawlers crawl through a bunch of these directories, they can see over and over again that you have your name you have your address, and you have your phone number in all these business directories. And then what that does is it tells Google's bot crawlers over and over again that you are a legitimate business that serves the local area with a local address and a local phone number. And so then once you have a lot of these web assets built out in these different directories, then it's gonna help you rank. Now there's other factors that are involved, like the number of reviews that you have, as well as how filled out, like I said, your Google My Business page is. And then a lot of other things. You can really get into nitty gritty of that, My Business page, like your photos being geotagged and all kinds of stuff that really gets into the nitty gritty. But hopefully an SEO company that knows what they're doing will do something like that. And then you start getting into press releases that will help with local rankings. Yeah, it's just a whole beast on its own. Okay. But those are kind of the things that you want to look out for.
So the main thing is to get into right now is, okay, set it up, right? Set it up, fill out that information, get your photos, get reviews, which you'll be talking about in a bit, and then basically be able to list in all of these, try to get into as many of these business directories as possible with all this information.
Yes, exactly. That is the rough idea.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So then the reason why I say Yelp next is because Yelp in itself, a lot of people are on that website, not necessarily even just for their food or restaurant, or maybe, a plumber or things like that. It's just one of those websites that's very authoritative in terms of SEO. And so it ranks for a lot of keywords. And you'll see that right away. When I search up mortgage broker Los Angeles, you'll see the very first organic listing that actually shows up is Yelp. And so a lot of people are going to be clicking on this link because it's an authoritative website. It ranks #1 organically when someone types in the phrase mortgage broker Los Angeles. So when someone clicks on here, that's why you need to make sure that you are have this optimized, because like I said, so many people are on here, and it just doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't have this in today's day and age. It's like one of those things, you just want more lines in the water to capture more fish. And so this is just one of the next things that is one of the most powerful ways that you can get more leads and build a reputation for yourself. So not only are you getting more traffic because you have these set up and you're being found on Yelp, but it also legitimizes your business, because when they see that you have a Yelp page, when they see that you're on Google My Business page, when they see that you have a Facebook and you got reviews and testimonials from people that are saying, hey, this is a good person to work with, psychologically, it just checks off all those marks from a person that's looking for a mortgage broker that says, hey, like this person has a lot of reviews, this person's being found and they're legit, and all those things, right? And so that's why you definitely want to make sure that you're on here. Just like with your Google My Business page, when you set this up, you want to make sure that you're on, you really fill this out. This person actually has a video, which is, even above and beyond just a photo. And she's got the logo, and she's got images of herself. Like I said, I would recommend doing things like next to her actual clients that she's worked with. And so she's fleshed it out in that regard. She's got 118 reviews. In terms of Yelp's algorithm, in terms of like why you would show up here, most of it is just purely the number of reviews that you have, as well as how good your rating is, and then how recent those reviews are, as well as how much you've fleshed out your page as well. So Yelp is going to ask you a bunch of questions as well, like what are you guys about from the business, your hours, and so you just want to fill all that information out. Now, the one thing that I do want to mention is once you set this account up, Yelp is going to start pestering you with phone calls all the time to sign up for their services. I personally don't recommend signing up for their yearly contract and that kind of thing, because you just don't get the best bang for your buck. You can actually opt in for a monthly package as of what I know today, and then and just do it that way. That way, if you need to cancel it, then you can. And what you're going to realize is once you start climbing up organically on here, then you're not going to really need the ads anymore. And so you can just turn that off and you just have that. But in the meantime, you may get some benefit from actually having an ad, but the prices can quickly add up. And so if that's in your budget, do it. If not, then it's fine. All right. Perfect. Kirk, do you have any questions for me, John?
No, so far
so good.
Good. Kirk, do you by chance have a Yelp account?
I do. Whether or not you'll be able to find it, we can go search for it, see if it's there.
Let's do Kirk. This one right here, right?
That's it.
Perfect. And so, yeah, it looks like we need to I think it needs to be claimed. And then obviously you're gonna need some photos and then just really optimize this. Again, all right, Kirk, maybe add that to your to-do list, and then we can just chat maybe in a few weeks and see how everything's going with that. But you definitely do wanna make sure that you're on Yelp, all right?
Cool.
All right, so the next thing that I wanna talk about is your Facebook. Now, the reason being is a lot of millennials, especially nowadays, when they're kind of deep diving into businesses and that kind of thing, they actually look up that business on Google to kind of see what other things that they can find. Not all the time, but a good amount of time I personally do that. And so I know that other people are doing it as well, because I know people that do that. And so when someone searches up, for example, this guy right here, Bill Raymond Home Mortgages. Bill Raymond Home Mortgages.
Yeah, I saw him on the Yelp too. He was like on the first page of Yelp too, this guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And so, okay, so normally when I search up someone like that high, their Facebook is up here, because they usually have like a Facebook page built out, but maybe this guy just needs some help as well on his end. But they'll pull up things like this, and then they'll look at the ratings and things like that. So let's say that out of the 3 social profiles or things that you've set up, 2 of them are awesome, where you have 5 stars or 4.7 stars and up, and then all of a sudden this one, you have like a 3-star out of 5, and then that just might be that line where they're like, oh, maybe I want to check out someone else, or oh, I can't find them on Facebook, I'm not sure, but hey, you know what, I found this other person on Facebook. What's their spiel about, right? So you just don't want to lose anyone in that transition period when people are doing that deep dive, and that's why you want to actually make sure that you have set up a Facebook account as well. Now, also, the reason why Facebook is good is because if someone has heard about your mortgage or brokerage, loan officer, that kind of thing, they might have okay, so you might have been able to be found through the grapevine. Like, let's say that it was from a client that you've worked with, right? And then the client says, hey, yeah, I worked with Kirk at Kirk Jaffe Enterprises. And so, that's the person I worked with. Maybe you can find them on Facebook. And so then the person might go on here and search up, Kirk Jaffe Enterprises, and then they might find a Facebook, and then boom, go there, see what you're about, and see what you do, and then actually reach out that way. So you just, like I said, at the end of the day, you just want more lines in the water. However way that you can actually get people to reach out to you, you want to make sure you do, because this doesn't cost any money, right? All you need to do is just set it up, set some photos, and then just answer some details and fill out some details. And if that means that you're going to land even one more deal every 6 months or every once a year, wouldn't you say that's worth it for you? And obviously I would say absolutely, because it costs no money to you. It's just a bit of time to get this set up. And Kirk has done a great job here building this out, Kirk. And so, yeah, you've just done a really good job on this end, and you've done a great job with your reviews. The reason why the next thing that I think that Facebook is going to be important is actually going to be a good segue to talk about reviews, because Facebook has a much higher chance of people opening up than email. All right. So I guess this kind of goes into my second spiel about how to get reviews. At this point, do you have any questions for me, Kirk, about anything that I've said?
No, this is great. I'm curious about the Yelp page, because both the Google and Yelp pages I had claimed, so obviously I did something wrong there. But I'll work on that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people fall off in that transition period where, I've had clients where, we did everything for them, and then they got the code, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't finished, and they couldn't get it to set up and stuff like that. And it's just a matter of just hand-holding a little bit until it gets all the way through. So you're not alone in this situation, and it definitely does happen. But yeah, just get on that when you get a chance, and you should be good. All right. So there are basically 3 ways that you can go about getting reviews. Now, there's a few other ways, but this is kind of going to be the main way that you're going to go about getting the reviews for these pages. And I hope at this point you understand why you need to get reviews on here. And I hope I've made myself clear. But the first way is actually just calling them, right? So you could actually, I'm sure you have your contact information from all the past clients that you've worked with, and you can reach out to them and just be like, hey, Bob, it's been a while since we've talked. This is Kirk. I've helped you set up or get you that loan and financing for your house. I hope everything's been good. How's everything been? That's great. Do you have any questions or anything like that? I just wanted to see if everything's worked out. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, by the way, Bob, could you do me a huge favor? Currently, I'm just trying to build up my reputation online. You know, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review. And so then, you know, they could be like, oh, sure, whatever, and then get them to leave the review. Now, the problems with some of this is, one, it might have been a very long time since you've actually talked to them. It might have been months, maybe even years since you've reached out to them. So it might be kind of weird for you to reach out to them. And two, it's a lot of time, right, for you to go out there and call every single person that you work with and try and get them to leave a review. And so if you want to do it, great. But there are other ways to go about doing this as well. And the second option is emailing them. And so what you want to do is go on your email and actually just grab all the previous, and hopefully up to this point, you've been collecting emails from your past clients. And if you haven't, you really need to make sure that you're on top of that, because it's not a hard ask. It's just an email that you can, you know, ask them about their experience and just that kind of thing. So make sure that you're collecting emails, and hopefully if you have been, you can reach out to all of your past clients and then send an email, something like this. You could just be like, you know, Mary, hey Mary, long time no talk. Hey Mary, this is Bob with First Street Market Mortgage. I helped you with financing for your house. I would greatly, I hope everything has been well. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you. By the way, could you do me a huge favor? I am trying to build my reputation online and it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review for my Google page. And leave a review here. Thank you for that. Best Bob. And whatever. Right? Or, you know, maybe it could be like a series of emails and that kind of thing. And then here, what you want to do is you want to grab the actual physical link to it. So let me show you how to do this the correct way. So when you click on this, right, and you find your listing, what you want to do is go on here and then hit write a review. And then what it's going to do is it's going to pull up this page, and then this is the link that you want to copy. And then that's the link that you want to show people, and you want to paste this in. So since this is a little bit long, what we'll do is we'll cut this, one of those, insert link, paste, and boom. And so when someone clicks on this, what's going to happen, and this works even better on your phone, but it's just going to load up this page, and it's going to go straight to the review. So people can just go, boom, 5 stars, post. And so that's how you can get that link. And obviously you can do the same thing with Facebook and Yelp pages as well. You just want to make sure that you grab the direct link so that they don't have to click a bunch of numbers, or you can't, so they don't have to be like, oh, you got to find them online and then do it that way. All right, so here's kind of the thing with email though. Statistically from my experience, just about 5 to 10% of people will actually open my emails. And a lot of people in the industry would actually say that's pretty damn good. What I've noticed from using Facebook as opposed to email is that 90% to 95% of people will actually open up the message that you send them. So it's, at the end of the day, it's kind of a no-brainer in terms of email versus Facebook. If you send out 100 emails out to people, 5 to 10 of them might actually answer your emails or look at it, as opposed to if you do it on Facebook, you might get 90 to 95% of 90 to 95 number of people to actually look at that message. And so that's why I recommend A, getting your Facebook page set up, and then B, actually using Facebook to actually reach out to people. And so, like, let's say that you've worked with someone named Bob Smith out of Denver, right? And then, or you're like, oh, okay, you know, because you'll have their name, right? And so you're like, oh, okay, you know, here he is, Bob Smith, you know, add friend. And then after that, you can just send him a message. And you can do the same thing that you said on here or what have you. And then reach out to him that way. That way you can collect more reviews for the different pages that you have. And like I said, it's not intrusive. If you think that this is intrusive, this takes 5 seconds for them to look at it and then just leave a message. This is how you're going to stand out from other people, guys. So you might think that calling people might be the best way, emailing people might be the best way, but I'm telling you right now that this is the most effective purely based on statistics that you're going to get in getting those reviews lined up and get higher and ultimately get more leads and more sales and grow your business that way. And so this is the kind of thing that you're going to have to do. So what I would recommend is going through your list of reviews and then, or not reviews, your past clients, and find them on Facebook, add them as a friend. And you know what? Even adding them as a friend is good, because when you're building out your personal brand, you can always like say, post on your Facebook wall and be like, hey, just helped Amy today get the financing for the $400,000. She's super happy with this, and I'm excited for them, or something like that. And so then when you've added them as a friend, it's a connection, they'll see that and they're like, oh, that's cool. So that whenever the next time they want to look for the financing, you're already in their ear over and over again. Most people are on Facebook today. And so it just kind of builds your brand that way. On top of that, if they have a referral, if they're talking to a friend who's looking for a house, they could be like, oh, there's a guy named Kirk who's been, who I've seen and stuff like that. Maybe you could reach out to him. And they go, oh, great. And then, work through that grapevine that way. So Kirk, I want to give you a special here today and actually show you how to actually filter out some of the bad reviews that you might get. So this is what we call kind of part of the reputation management. And guys, there's so many form builders out there. You just got to pick one, and because most of them will have this function. I personally use Wufoo because I just happen to have a subscription with them, and you can build out a conditional format with Wufoo to be able to do this. And let me just show you exactly what this looks like. So I built this out already for you, and this is what it looks like. So this is a mortgage company questionnaire. So when you're sending out this email, instead of saying, hey, can you do me a favor and leave me a review here, you could instead say something like, hey, just so that I can get a better feel for how I'm doing, would you mind just doing this quick questionnaire? It'll only take you 60 seconds to do it. And so then once they click on this link, it'll actually take them to this link right here. And then they can fill out their name. So it could be like Jack, Kim. And then here, this is where people can say, how satisfied were you with the process? And so if they say satisfied, and I also asked this, do you know anyone that is actively looking to buy a house? Just to, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If they happen to say yes, great, then you can reach out to them, right? And then hit submit, and they say satisfied. What it's gonna do is it's gonna take you to a thank you for filling out our questionnaire. It would mean the world to us if you left us a review here. So if someone clicks on that link, it'll go straight to, as one I pulled up earlier, it'll take them straight to that review link that they can leave because they were satisfied, right? And so odds are they're probably going to give you a good review. Now, if they happen to say that they're not happy with it, if they say anything besides satisfied, if they say okay or not good, what it's going to do instead is it's actually going to send you this. Thank you for filling out our questionnaire. We'll be in touch soon to figure out exactly what went wrong, or whatever you want to say. That way, you can mitigate all the bad ones, and then you can reach out to them and ask them what went wrong. Because, wouldn't you want to know if there's something that went wrong, so you can continue to improve your practice and your business. And then, and so if people are over and over again are saying the same thing, then you can recognize it and address it and fix it, right? And so that's the kind of thing that you can do to mitigate it. Now, this isn't 100%, but this is definitely going to help mitigate a lot of those bad reviews, so you can help with that as well. Kirk, do you have any questions about this?
Oh, it's great. This is a really good part of Wufoo.
And absolutely, Kirk, because this is kind of a recording and I don't want to spend 30 minutes building this out, when we kind of do this again privately or whatever, I'll show you, or actually maybe what we can do is maybe once you've set up those profiles, then especially Google, then we can walk through this and I'll show you exactly how to do this for you. All right?
I got a question, Jack.
Yeah.
So when on this review page,
Mm-hmm.
and because obviously you're going to be sending them to, there's multiple pages, right? You've got your Google page, you've got your Yelp page, you've got your Facebook page. So can you switch out between them, or do you have to have a different form for each?
Yeah, you can switch it out. You would just change it in the form itself. So this link right here would change to something like the one on Facebook or Yelp.
Okay. Okay. So you just changed. So what would you do? Would you say leave this one on for like, you know, a week or two and then do it, you know, change it to the Facebook later and then change it to Yelp later, just in different time periods? Or what would you recommend getting reviews in first? Like, what's the number one thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, John. So what I would recommend is number one, Google. By far, you need to make sure that you have reviews on Google. And it's also the easiest because 99.9% of people have a Google Gmail account. So it's easy for them to leave a review and you just have a higher chance of doing that. I would recommend about 10 to 20 reviews. Once you get to 10 to 20 reviews, if you have no reviews on Yelp, then that would be the next step. And Yelp is a little bit harder because they verified, and sometimes it just filters into like a not verified review. And so what you want to do in Yelp is then get to about 5 to 10 on Yelp, and then get a few on Facebook, and then rinse and repeat. And then your next goal is like 40 on Google, and then another 5 to 10 on Yelp, and just kind of cycle through it that way is what I would recommend.
Cool.
Now, you can get a little bit creative and outside of the box. What you could do is you could ask them to leave reviews on multiple pages as well. You could be like, leave a one on Google, leave one on Yelp, leave one on Facebook, so they can click on different ones. So if they, want to go above and beyond, they can do that. Or, there's so many different ways. I just built this way. But, if you get clever, you can really you can see how this can grind your gears and really kind of make you think the different ways that you can do this. And even in the form builder itself, you could turn this into a questionnaire. I happen to just add this part because I figured it might be good, but there's other questions you can ask them that might help get you more business as well. So it functions for two different purposes. You know what I mean?
What's the cost for a Wufoo account?
Sorry?
How much does a Wufoo account cost?
Wufoo, I believe, is $15 for their lowest plan. Let's see. Yeah, so no, it's 20 for the monthly. And there's a free for 5 forms and 100 entries and 10 fields, 1 users. I paid for this because I use a little bit more than forms. Actually, 5 forms should be enough. You only need 1 form. And then 100 entries, I don't know if you'd need more than that. 10 fields, only asking a few questions. So actually, this free might work perfectly fine for most of the people here. And you as well, Kirk.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that kind of wraps up my spiel. Like I said, it's good to be on Facebook, it's good to be on Google, and it's good to be on Yelp. It's only going to grow your business, and it doesn't cost money necessarily. And a lot of you guys might look at your time. What I would recommend doing is kind of break down every single day how much time you're spending in getting clients. So if you're spending 4 hours talking to realtors and that kind of thing, look at that and look at the return on investment on it, right? So when you're building this out, you can track all the time that you're spending and then focus on the ones that's giving you the biggest results. If this only takes you 1 hour out of a year to build out these things, or maybe 2 hours or 1 hour a week to send out these emails to people, then it might make a lot of sense for you to go ahead and do that, because it's going to grow your practice. And it might not be immediate. And I want you guys to recognize that, this isn't going to be an overnight success. You do this and boom, you're just going to blow up your business. It takes time, right? You have to build your reviews over time. But if you start today, as long as you recognize you're not going to go out of business in 6 months, you're not going to go elope out to Europe, and you're going to be in business for the next year, it makes sense to get started today as soon as you finish watching this video, as soon as you're done with this, to just get this going and build that funnel for yourself. So then you can start getting leads from Facebook. You can start getting leads from Google My Business. You start getting leads from Yelp. You start getting leads from SEO services or reputation management services or lead generation services. And then all of a sudden, then you can, once you get to the point where you're swamped, then you can take that next step and figure out how to reduce your time investment. So there's things where you can automate things, right? So you can automate sending out emails for reviews. You can automate things like making follow-up phone calls, or you can hire an assistant to help you with that. So then you can continue to scale and grow your business, because that's how you need to think to grow your business. A lot of loan officers are great at what they do in terms of filing the information and building relationships with realtors. But you also have to understand that you have to be able to market yourself to really stand out from everyone else. And you have to understand the mindset of a marketer and really get involved. with doing marketing to really take your business to the next level. And Kirk himself has done a great job with doing this, because I've talked to him a number of times before doing this video call, and he's on top of his stuff, and that's why he's killing it, right? But a lot of you guys that might be struggling, this is what it takes. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's not an ATM machine that's just going to print you money. You got to put in work, but the results and the reward is going to be there as long as you put in consistent effort and keep on doing this moving forward.
Thanks, Jack. That was great.
Absolutely. So I think I'll wrap it up here. Maybe, would you mind if I just do a quick plug and spiel about kind of what we do?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So guys, in addition to kind of doing our reputation management and the SEO services that I've kind of talked about here throughout this video, another thing that we do is actually generate qualified leads for you. So we have our background experience in Facebook ads and online advertisement, and we help you generate leads for you. And so you'll see right here, since August 17th, all the way up until August 23rd, 24th, we're able to generate 16 plus qualified exclusive leads for our client. And so this is kind of the thing that you can see. It comes with 12 data points. So it's not just your name, email, and number. It's actually their zip code and some information like their home type, if it's their first property, their credit score, and all these other details, if they're working with a real estate agent or not, and all these details. So that way, it's not just a simple lead, but you can get some background and kind of see how this is going to shape up when you reach out to them. And like I said, this goes directly to your email as soon as it comes in. And so it's the hot lead. It's not shared with anyone else. And I'm sure you'll see the results from what we can do for you. If you're interested, all you have to do, and I'll share the link on the video description, but just go to calendly.com/rivermarketinggroup, and then you would just schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, and then we'll just chat then and see if we're going to be a good fit, if we'll be able to actually be able to help you, and then work out something together. All right. Kirk, so we've worked here together now. Do you think you could tell the people just your experience working with us so far?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Jack. So you came to me from a good friend, Jonathan, which gave you a lot of credibility up front, and I really appreciated that, because one of the things that's most important to me is, and a premise I live by, is people know people like themselves. So Jonathan's a real high quality person, so I immediately felt like you were probably going to be the same. And I'll tell you, that's what I found out. You've been very patient. You are very open-minded. You took direction well. And the result was you were able to send me these 16 qualified leads. And they were qualified, and the form that you sent them on was very useful in giving me the background that I needed so I could have a good conversation with folks the first time out of the gate. So I wasn't going in blind. And I really appreciated that. And then not only that, you went a step further, and you got on additional calls with me. You gave me additional information. You reviewed some of my social media sites and gave me some tips and tools that I can use right away. In fact, I'll spend a little time on it today, and probably less than an hour, I'll have those couple things set up that frankly I thought had already been set up. So it was good to do that review and find out that what I thought I had done already didn't hold. So, and you showed me how that can happen too. So I really appreciate the services of River Consulting and River Marketing and you, Jack, and looking forward to working with you guys again. Looking forward to closing the 16 leads I got and reinvesting the money into more.
Perfect. Working with you as well.
You got it.